like to introduce Amy Williamson, who came to my home a few weeks ago and did a demonstration. I was very impressed. Everybody there was impressed. And she's with EMF Solutions, and they have figured out how to use special technology to take care of the effects of EMFs. Not block the EMFs, but how to deal with the effects of EMFs, which is the bottom line.
My guess is people may not know what EMF is, Samuel.
Electromagnetic frequencies from the 5G and all the radiation and the cell towers.
I think it's blocking the speaker,
et cetera.
Maybe this one's off.
And anyway, since we've installed this into our home, our house feels very, very peaceful. It's like when the electricity in the neighborhood gets shut off during a power surge. It's very calm, and it's priceless to have this in our house, and I felt very motivated to share it with the mastery circle. So Amy, welcome.
Thank you, Samuel. I'm really pleased to hear that. I feel the same way about my home, and that's why I do this. I really want to be able to share this with people because we're all being affected by EMFs, and most people don't even realize. So EMFs are electrical magnetic frequencies, like Samuel said. So they come from many, many sources. It started with the electricity. So when we first started bringing electricity to our home, you can trace back symptoms to EMFs all the way back to that. So power lines, electrical wires, even solar is actually really bad. So even though it's a good thing in some ways, it's very toxic to the human body. Cell phones, Wi-Fi, laptops, any of this new technology creates these man-made electrical magnetic frequencies, and they cause a great disturbance in the body. So I discovered this because I had a little baby, and I was doing everything I could. We're very health orientated. I have a health coaching certificate from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And we had a lot of symptoms that I couldn't figure out, what was happening to us. And we had recently moved to a new home. So kind of after going through everything and talking to a lot of people, it occurred to me one day when my hand was hot holding my cell phone that I should look into this. It took me many years to motivate, but I finally was like, I need to figure this out. Like, what is this doing to me? And as I dug into it, I realized that I really needed to take a course because it's very deep and there's many layers and a lot of different conflicting information. So I decided to study with somebody who's been doing this for 30 years. And I discovered that my home had very high levels of electromagnetic frequencies very near where we were sleeping. So I had insomnia for years, really, really bad insomnia. My child was not sleeping. I thought this was all due to having a young baby, but it actually wasn't. It had to do with the EMFs. We did test for mold to see if that was the issue because my child was sick with symptoms with maybe only a day or two in between sickness for years that she was healthy. So there was obviously something wrong. We ran labs and she was not healthy finally. So I took this course, and what they taught you was to reduce. So don't use your cell phone, get rid of the Wi-Fi, run Ethernet cords, and all that reduces it. But what about your neighbors? They have solar, they have Wi-Fi. You go out in the streets and there's cell phone towers everywhere. And now we have it in satellites. It's actually beaming down on our crown chakra from a very low level everywhere. So you can't get away from it. And then they say you can shield. Well, if you want to shield, it's thousands and thousands of dollars to maybe do a bedroom and a lot of work. And it needs to be grounded to the earth. And you can never take any EMF device in there. No cell phone, no laptop. You have to be very careful because if you don't shield correctly, you will have worse problems because you will trap the EMFs and they will continue to bounce and cause more and more chaos. So I tried to reduce our EMFs. It didn't really work. I could never, ever get rid of everything, and we still continue to have the symptoms. And then luckily one day my acupuncturist turned me on to EMF Solutions. They said they had muscle tested and tried the products, and lo and behold, it seemed to work. And I didn't think there was a product that could help you. So I had them come out to my home. I was convinced after looking at the results of their studies. I tried it, and I have to say, immediately, being that I'm electromagnetic sensitive, I can feel energy really, really well. I felt like I was on a boat, and I could feel it. And I remember at Samuel's house, he felt it immediately as well. He was like, wow, I feel the energy shifting. So for me, it felt like I got on a boat. And my daughter started running around. She got super energized. And that night I fell asleep immediately. So I went from insomnia for years and years to falling asleep immediately and sleeping through the night and night after night. And my daughter got better, and all this went away. And so now I just, you know, when I have interest, when people realize that this stuff is toxic and they come to me, I'll share with you what I found. And I do sell this. There's a few of us, maybe like 15 people in the United States that sell these products. It's not a big company, but someday I'm sure they'll be well known because they have figured out how to address through physics a way to harmonize the chaos that's harming us from these EMFs. So I have a book that they've given me, and I can go through some information with everybody here. So I'm not very tech savvy, so I don't have this on my computer, but you guys can all look at this. Here's the common sources of EMFs. You can see some pictures, a lot of the things I mentioned. And then here's a list of symptoms. So I'll let you know, most people feel fatigue, brain fog, tinnitus. My boyfriend has had tinnitus most of his life. He's a musician. And since moving in with me, he said it's gone away and he can't believe it. And he's 55 years old. Basically, you could have any symptom from EMFs because what it's doing is damaging your cells and eventually your DNA. But a lot of people have sleep disturbances and some of these things right here. Headaches. We do know more about EMFs than we ever did about smoking. There are actually over 10,000 studies on EMFs. And I'll put this up here. You can see some websites. Bioinitiative.org has over 4,000 studies, and these are non-biased, non-funded studies by scientists from around the world. It's well recognized by EMF consultants. What else do we have? The Power Watch, EMFscientist.org are a few of them, if you guys want to look that up. And if anybody wants to contact me and get any of this information, I'm happy to do that later. Email me. So the Bioinitiative has set up what they consider to be safe levels, which is quite different than the FDA. I'll show you that. This is really interesting. Obviously, because the FDA has people funding it, don't have our best interests in mind. Well, I don't know where that is, but we'll come across that anyway. So they'll tell me the levels. When I go out to people's homes, I will take a meter for all the different types of electromagnetic frequencies. We actually have 4. There's the voltage, so electrical voltage. There's the magnetic electrical ones. There's the radio frequencies, which are your cell phone and the Wi-Fi and all those Bluetooth, all those devices. And then you have dirty electricity. So there's actually 4 types. So that's how oversaturated we are. And I have meters for all these things, and I go into people's homes and I tell you the levels. But I can tell you that you don't need me. I can tell you that the average is 3,000 to 6,000 microwatts per meter squared for radio frequency in pretty much everyone's home. A cell phone alone is about 6,000. I can show you. Here's a meter. I just turned it on. Here's my cell phone. Look at this. It's at the top of my meter. The safe level per radio frequency is 10 microwatts per meter squared. This is about 6,000. This is from the Wi-Fi going on with the cell phone and the laptop. I'm not worried about this. This isn't harming me at all though. I have this device on here on my phone, on my laptop that protects me completely. So I get no harmful effects from the EMF. So anyway, we have all the safe levels. I go into the home and I tell you what your levels are. Now, some people will have different levels of electrical and magnetic, and that varies. But everybody has really high levels of dirty and radio frequency given. That's a given because we have the cell phones and the cell towers and the Wi-Fi, our laptops, our computers. So everybody's toxic. There is a labeling of EMFs by the World Health Organization, the Bio Initiative, and the Power Watch, and they've all labeled it carcinogen. EMFs are labeled a carcinogen. I've got that highlighted down here, which I find interesting because you really don't hear about this stuff. Radiation from 2007 to 2017 from these devices has grown. What is this? 1 quintillion times right here. That's how much it's grown. And we did the largest cell phone study ever in the United States on 2 and 3G phones. It was done by the United States over 10 years, $30 million study, and it was conclusive that EMFs cause cancer in rats. And that has been up on the government website for years. I think recently they might have actually taken it down. And children have twice the DNA damage because they're still developing. So children are even more sensitive to this. And I do have some friends with small children that complain a lot, and they have trouble with keeping the children unaffected, even though they have some of our products, because it's just keeping the products on the child is difficult. And basically, would you use your cell phone if you knew that it was 1 minute on your cell phone is actually equivalent to a chest X-ray? That's how bad it is. Let's see, skip that. Oh, here it is. So I was looking for the FCC safe level versus the scientists. I've got it on a chart right here for you. So 10 microwatts per meter squared is what the scientists say that aren't funded. And this is what the FCC says because it's so funded with their interests in mind. What is that, 10 million? So that's why they get away with all this. The wireless industry spends over 100 million per year lobbying Congress for this technology. So it's good to know. All right, so let's get down to it. Dr. Martin Pall in 2013 did this study, and I'm going to show you a graph. This is what you need to know. So this is our cell. Here's the EMF coming in, and they shake. The EMFs shake. So it causes all this shaking and vibrating that we're going to call subatomic chaos. And this is a very famous study by Dr. Martin Pall. And what he showed is that the shaking from the EMF opens up the double voltage calcium gate in your cell. And this is why we're being harmed. So he figured out the root problem of why EMFs harm us. They open up this gate in our cell and it doesn't close. So you end up getting huge levels of calcium uptake. And this is what's causing all the problems, all the symptoms. So it was based on this study that the owner of EMF Solutions, scientist and himself, figured out how to help us. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, you got the EMF, you have subatomic chaos, you get an increase in calcium, and it causes symptoms and sickness. So what they've done is they have put together elements from the earth, whether they be minerals, sand, stone. I don't know the exact formula, but they test them. They put them into a device, and I've seen it, and it measures properties. And they've found that 2 properties, when combined, working sort of like a magnet, placed near the source. So put it at on your Wi-Fi box or on your cell phone. Mine's actually behind this case. It's so small that it's right behind this case that's flexible. And I'll show you what it looks like. So it's a mold of this material that they dig up out of the earth. They measure the properties. When they find enough of it, they put it together, and they figured out with each device where we can put it. And then we can do this for almost everything. And what it does is it calms the chaos. So instead of all the shaking coming off the EMF, it now turns into a harmonious wave. It does not open our double voltage calcium gate on our cell. And we can have our cell phones and our Wi-Fi and our computers and not be harmed. So here's the study. Right here is the chart. This is right here in red. This is with a Wi-Fi router in a Faraday cage with human cells. And this shows the uptake of calcium in 24 hours. This is with our product on the Wi-Fi router, again, with the Petri dish with the human cells. And they did this for human cells all throughout the body. And it was shown conclusive by this laboratory that no matter which cell, always the cell levels remain, the calcium levels remain constant and balanced. But without protection, this is what happens. Okay, so that's the study that proves that it works. We also have done many other things like blood microscopy and thermal imaging, and I can show you some of these. So right here, we have blood microscopy testing. This is before. This is with protection on your cell phone. Take off the protection. Here's your blood. Now, when your blood does this, you're not going to be able to get oxygen through those red blood cells. They're not going to travel. And here again, we put protection back on. So it works immediately. And it can actually make you even healthier. It's pretty interesting. So we can do this for the whole home. Like Samuel was saying, his home is feeling really, really peaceful. It's like living out in the country with no exposure. Okay, here's thermal imaging. All right, the top one has the cell phone chip on it, like mine. And you can see there's not any white. White is the real hot, and then red. So down below is no cell phone chip, 10-minute phone call, and they're cooking. So when you feel yourself heating up from this technology, that it's real. We can also mention that they did a mold test. Mold grows 600 times faster when exposed to EMFs because of the heat. So here you go. With protection, no mold in 30 days. Without protection, it grows really quickly. What does this say? In a few days, I think. I don't know. It's usually a couple days. This is a new test. All right. There's a couple more studies. And I guess if you're still confused, you could think about it like a microwave. So everybody knows that the friction and the heating in the microwave is what cooks your food. Well, Wi-Fi cell phones are running on the same frequency as a microwave. And then when you talk about 5G, it's the same thing. It's just higher on the spectrum. And it's so powerful that actually 5G was used as a weapon. So this is weaponized technology. The difference being now, it can't travel as far. So they're going to put these cell towers on like every block for 5G, and large structures can block it. So it works a little bit differently, but it's even more toxic. So these products will work. It's just a matter of having enough. So in each case, I just have to talk to you about, what you're using, what's in your environment. Do you have solar? Do you have a cell phone tower next to your home, like within a half a mile? And then after diagnosing your situation, I recommend how much product to put on your home. So does anybody have any questions? I can show you what some of these products look like. Yeah, Patricia?
How do they measure the uptake of calcium in the cell?
Oh, that was a scientific lab. I don't know how I don't know how they do that.
I guess, yeah, I wanted to know how they got to the cellular level. And I know that Bill has some questions. I don't know if Bill has an unstable signal.
Yeah, I don't know. That says the tests were done by Dr. Vita Masave, PhD, microbiologist, biochemist. We tested with no router.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how they do that. That's not something we were explained, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Bill?
so for the moment I'm stable, and thank you very much, Amy. So just wondering, my wife is pushing me to get a upgrade to a fancy cell phone, and I don't know. I'm hesitant and wondering if the newer the model, the higher the EMFs. That's one question, and then also the effect on pets. And I think Mary Grace has too, but maybe I could get your input too. Thanks.
Yes, I do believe that the EMFs probably increase as we go to more powerful cell phones because they seem to get more powerful. They're like computers. And they do vary from device to device. iPhones are some of the worst. I have a really bad one. It's like a 10. But I love it. And because I have protection, I feel comfortable using it. I would say that this is a really good way to go because you don't have to get rid of the technology. You don't have to worry about it. You can get out of fear, and it's all very affordable, and it doesn't die. I mean, you just take it from one device to the next. Occasionally you might need to add more as things increase, but they recently redid many of the products, so they're very strong and ready to go for 5G. And what was the other question?
Pets.
Bill, what was that other part of your question besides the phone?
Yeah, the other question. So this protection that will mitigate the effects of having a newer cell phone. This.
Yes, absolutely. We can protect from
Secondly,
everything except for the headphones. You know, the earbuds and the watches. They look like this. This is actually an EMF harmonizing material. This is not the iPhone, but those two things I can't help you with. I would say don't ever use Bluetooth earbuds. Throw them away. It's putting EMFs right in your brain.
Right. I don't
What else? And the watches.
Yeah, she has.
Because it's now you have EMFs pumping into your body, strapped to your body, or the Fitbits. I mean, this stuff's you're getting it all day long. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the definition of calcium uptake, and why is that bad for the cell?
Calcium uptake means your cell is taking in calcium. So we have gates on the cell that open and close to take the proper amount of nutrition, but the gate doesn't close. So it basically just gets oversaturated with calcium. And that is what has caused all the symptoms that we get. And so, I mean, I haven't studied that. I just know this information. But I mean, I can look at like the kind of symptoms people get, and I know the ones that I had. And I mean, it could be horrible. You can get all the way down to like cancer, Alzheimer's, DNA damage. It's very serious. I mean, it's something you could look into, but I already know it. You know, the EMFs are hurting us.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I felt it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Patricia.
It would be the same kind of device that you have in your phone for the laptop?
Yes. Each device has its own. So we have a laptop chip that's specifically made. There are actually two of them because the laptop's bigger and more powerful. So you get two and they're bigger and they go on the bottom. The Wi-Fi router and any Bluetooth like Alexa, any of those things, they have their own chip. So they're all custom made to each thing. The home, to do your entire home, to take care of dirty electricity, magnetic, electrical, like all those big things, and like make your home really, really healthy and peaceful, which is going to help you sleep. That is a big box. Okay. It's like this big. I have it right here. And some people need more than this. I usually recommend one home harmonizer box and one booster box in general. And these go at your on your panel. And if you live in an apartment or a condo, then we just try to figure out the best place. Sometimes it's your electrical panel. Sometimes we have to do room plugs instead, and they go in your house. I'll show you some of these things. We have a device for the car. This is a device chip. So for all your little wireless things, and you can clip it on. I use this on my sauna. And if anybody's interested, I can walk you through, you know, what you need for your home. These go on your bed. This is a bed pad. And what I would say is it's very important to do everything. I've occasionally seen people just buy maybe a room plug and a cell phone chip, and they're like, well, I don't really feel any different. Like, well, really, you're only going to feel it if you do the house and clip some of these main devices that are really putting off a lot of EMFs. Otherwise, you may not notice it. And you may not notice it either. Like I'm very sensitive. Samuel's very sensitive. We feel the energy. A lot of you might be, but you may not be. I don't know. I can't guarantee that it's going to fix you or that you're going to feel it, but I know that it's protecting your cells. And then you may actually heal, because you'll get rid of probably the largest environmental toxin there is.
And where exactly in the laptop do you put that?
On the bottom.
Okay.
The chips look similar to the cell phone.
Yeah.
They're just a little thicker, and you put them on the bottom.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I can't probably see everybody, so if you guys just want to just
Mary,
start talking, if you have a question.
raise her hand.
So, you know, we're happy to send out your contact information by email. You can also put it in chat, but we'll all receive an email if you give me your contact information.
Okay, I will. Thank you. And I could put it right
Amy?
here. Yes.
I'm wondering what is the impact on the body of going from a decontaminated environment within your home to going out in public and doing what you have to do? And is there an impact? It seems like to me that there would be something that our bodies would experience in that. And do you, when you come back, is it like detoxing, you know, but going back and forth, it's like.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. In the beginning, I really did notice it. I wanted to be home a lot. It's a good point. But they recently came out with some bands that are really powerful. And you can also wear more than one protection piece. So they have cards, they have little cards that you can wear, and they have bands, and they have 3 different sizes. This is like the medium size, and they have a bigger one I can show you. And we also have car plugs. So you can get quite a bit of protection when you're out and about, but it's not quite the same as being home. You know, whether or not you're going to detox is an individual thing. Let's see.
Well, my experience is when I go into certain stores, the lighting in there will absolutely exhaust me. I can't stay for any length of time. Some I can't stay at all.
Yeah, you're right.
And
The halogen and the LED light bulbs are very high in EMFs.
yeah.
So not only does it not feel good to our eyes, but they're very toxic. So it's real. I remember being in school as a kid, like I couldn't stand it. So here's another band. This is a bigger one.
So wearing that in a store would mitigate that?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Thank you.
And the car plug here, this is the original model, and they just came out with a new one that I think I can order now. I don't actually have one, but it's basically twice the size as this. So this is one car plug. And the new ones, it basically looks like a double size. as they increase the power on it. And you stick these in your car. And some people carry around the pouches that go on the bed. You can put those in your car. You can put in your bag, in your pocket. They're really powerful. Sometimes you just have to play around and see what makes you feel good. And then we have another size band. This one isn't as strong. It's a thinner one. These are better for kids. These are pretty good for someone like me. I'm like 130 pounds. And then we have the larger one. And all these things range in price. Device chips are like $40. And then the most expensive thing, you know, a lot of things are maybe like $60, $80. And then this one is about $500. This is the big one. But man, does this make your house feel good.
Amy,
Yes.
you might want to mention that there's a 60-day guarantee. You can
thank
get your money back. And when you told me about that, and you told me about the people that wanted to return them and get their money back, they took this technology off their home and they insisted on having them back because they were used to a certain feeling and they lost it when they took the technology off.
Yeah. So the company offers a 60-day money back guarantee because we know this works. So you can try it. And if you don't feel satisfied, I'll refund the money. But what is funny, and I was telling Samuel, like I've never had to refund a home
You
kit
see me up there? No,
because
in the mirror.
we ask that like people take the home kit and all the things off, put it in a pile for a couple of days before we pick it up. And what ends up happening is then they notice a big difference and then they put it back on, usually is what happens. But if you want to return it, we do take it back 60 days.
Amy, how long does the material that harmonizes the EMF last? In other words, there are minerals or various elements that are
Yeah, at least
protected.
100 years.
Oh, only 100?
About 100 years, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that'll cover my lifespan.
exactly. That's why I said this is a great investment. And if it breaks, it's okay. Just glue it back together. It still works.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Patricia,
What about microwaves?
throw it away. I
don't
say
use
that because it's
I don't use it.
cancerous.
Most homes come with a microwave now.
Yeah,
There.
I know. Decorate it? I don't know. I guess you could put a device chip on it like we do with a lot of things that are toxic, but it makes your food carcinogenic.
No,
So
I know.
I learned that in my my health institute studies.
But just the fact of having a microwave in the home.
Oh, it's okay. Just don't use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, but don't use it.
Yes.
Yes, and purple. Yes.
Purple, thank you. What about these LED beds or LED operations to make your skin better and look better? And then laying in a whole LED bed
That
for
sounds terrible.
arthritis and body pain and all that. It's got.
Are you sure it's LED
Yes.
or infrared? LED?
Oh, well,
I have an infrared sauna, and I know that's pretty popular for healing, and that's legit. And they're not super high in EMFs. They all vary. Mine's really, really low. But you can put a device chip on them, and they do work really well for cellular detoxification and repair. But if it's LED light bulbs, yeah, those are really bad. They cause a lot of high EMFs, and you could put device chip or two on it, and then it would probably be fine.
I've been laying in a whole LED bed.
That's wild.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question about the iPhone 11 Pro.
Yeah.
How's the 11 iPhone?
Oh, I'm sure it's horrible. I have the 10 and mine was 6,000. It's probably like 8,000 microwatts per meter squared.
All right,
Shouldn't
thank
be over 10. Not anything over 10. So basically anything that's using this technology is really toxic. If you don't want to get a protection piece from me, I would recommend not carrying it on you when it's on. Put it on airplane mode. Use your speaker. And you can also buy these things called earbuds. So they stop the travel right here of the electromagnetic frequencies. They're called earbuds. And that's the only headphones I would recommend to use on an unprotected cell phone. And those techniques will help. But yeah, you can look at the fine print in the cell phone. It says, don't carry this on your body. Don't have it next to your body. It's wild.
What would be a typical time that you come to the home? How long would that take, and what does it entail?
Okay, it takes about 2 hours, and I just have to set it up, you know, whatever works with our schedule. Weekends are pretty good for me. I have a small child that I homeschool, so it's kind of tough. But we can also do over Zoom, and I can walk, you know, you can walk me through your house if we don't live in the area. I live in San Diego. What do I do? So I usually give the talk like I had today. I meter your entire house for all the different electromagnetic frequencies and let you know the levels. And then I walk you through what you could put on for protection, where you would put it. But like I said, we can do it over Zoom. I just wouldn't be able to tell you the exact levels of everything. But if you're interested in the product, it wouldn't matter because it's going to mitigate everything.
Is there any time that you're going to be coming to the Los Angeles area? So maybe 2, 3, or 4 or 5 people can see you within that time?
Sure, we can arrange that, yeah. I already came to Samuel's once and we were talking about doing it again soon. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Patricia, yeah.
So if we're going to have so many 5G towers everywhere, how do we protect ourselves?
Well, I think that what I just presented is a great solution because you don't have to shield, you know, you just use this on your body, in your car, in your home.
But will it protect our heads?
Yeah, everything. Absolutely.
Amy, if you came up to Los Angeles, would you go to like 5 different homes in one day, or how would that work?
I would love to just meet everybody at one home, if possible. If you just wanted to talk to me in person and get product. It would be really hard to go to like 5 different homes and spend a couple hours in each one, but I could possibly go to a few.
Okay.
You know, maybe some people that don't need the metering, we all meet at one house, and then if some people really want the metering, I can go to their place.
Okay, thank you.
Amy,
Yeah.
is there a website that shows where your closest cell tower is located in proximity to your home?
There are
Is
some
there a way you
sites.
could?
I don't have that for you, but I have heard about people talking about that. I wonder if I have a picture too to show you what the 5G ones, they're really small. It'd be fun to show you a picture.
I sent you wherever you were.
Probably have one on my cell phone.
So a lot of times when I'm driving around, I see these weird towers. One of them is on the corner around Woodman Avenue in Burbank. It's right behind a building, but it looks like a pineapple tree.
Yeah,
it's very odd. And I always wondered if that's like a cell tower. I thought first it might be a air raid signal or something, but it's been there for a while. And then sometimes when I drive around on the freeway, I notice these weird looking towers that are trying to be camouflaged and look like pine trees.
Yeah, these
and
are
I
cell
often
towers.
wonder
Let me turn the sound off.
if they are. Okay.
They are cell towers, yes. And then this is a 5G tower these are the little ones they're going to be putting in our neighborhoods. See that on top of the light?
They're all over.
So they're going to go, they're going to go on top of poles, and they're just these little cylinders. Those are 5G neighborhood towers.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, those camouflage things are definitely 4G towers.
4 or 5.
Your volume is on.
Yes, purple. I don't know your name, sorry. I can't hear you, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Where are you located?
I'm in San Diego.
Oh, I'm in Orange County. Several years ago, it was through Dr. Hans Gruen. Some of you may be familiar with him. He's up in LA. But I got involved in this, and it was a long time ago, and someone came to my home and did an assessment.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile, and you'd probably get some business. Come by my house on the way to LA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if anybody's interested, please contact me. I love doing this. I've seen some crazy results. I could talk about a family I did. So there was a family from my little girl's school, and they were telling me that they had tried everything to figure out why they were having some symptoms within, you know, a few of the members, having a hard time sleeping. The kids were irritable. One child had headaches every single morning for years, woke up with headaches. So she finally called me out. She knew what I did. And she's like, I can't figure it out. Maybe it's the EMFs. I finally want to look into this. So I assessed the house, and it was horrible. They have all kinds of technology. They had a transmitter nearby. They had a mini cell phone towers nearby. So we did the whole house. She calls me a few days later, and she's like, we're all sick. I was like, And then she's like, maybe it's COVID. So they tested twice for COVID. Wasn't COVID. They had been so sick from the EMFs that the body detoxed really hard after they got all the products. And I'd never seen anything like it, but I guess it's starting to get a little more common because it's so toxic now. So we talked, and she decided to hang in there. And I said, well, maybe, you know, take some of the stuff off, you know, maybe a little bit at a time kind of thing, do a detox protocol, digestive enzymes, charcoal, etc. So they did these things, and a week later she said, okay, we're good. And she said, I just have to tell you, my little boy, the 6-year-old boy that had headaches every morning, came to her and said, Mommy, my headaches are gone. And then she told me also that he had been night sweating for years, and that stopped. And so I guess he was probably so toxic that he was trying to clear out at night. But I thought that was a great testimony, because the little boy doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know that the house is changed and protected. And one of the major symptoms that they were really worried about got resolved. But anyway, I now have some tips. So if anybody gets protection, we'll take it slowly so that you don't get big detox symptoms.
Amy, you have 5 minutes to wrap up.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Judy.
Thank you. I'm sure this is like integrative medicine and supplements, and you know what you're doing is trying to be squelched by everybody. So there's no evaluation of what your company does formally or anything. It's just kind of being inside and being in the know, like so many other things we've had to deal with through the years, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, this is a very small company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
from San Diego, actually. The guy who started, it's a chiropractor. He was sick with EMFs, and he figured out, you know, he had to find a solution. He said he just couldn't take it. So
What's his name?
Corey Hillis.
Thank you.
Yeah, their website is emfsoul.com. But I actually have my own website, because I only make money if people buy products from me. So I made my own website. I shared it in the chat.
Great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Hi.
Hi.
I'm a health coach, and I talk about all kinds of crazy stuff that's not in the usual medical system. And I would actually love to interview you on my radio show. Is that something I can talk to you about?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm sure we'll get along great.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is my jam.
Yeah.
Health. Yeah.
I'm very interested. I'd like to know a lot more about it. I definitely need some of your stuff myself, so.
Okay.
I'll be
What's
in
your
touch.
name, Lisa?
Julianne.
Julianne. Oh, there it is. Julianne Blake. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Mhm.
Patricia.
I posted in the chat a link I found with the 5G locations.
Oh, thank
So
you.
people can look at it. I found it very fast. I didn't read it, but
Yeah,
by the title, I hope all the information is there.
I know that's the thing I don't want to recommend because there's so many. And then like, I tried to use some of them and I was like, oh, it's such a hassle. So, look around on Google. They're there.